Most people think they know what Incognito Mode does. Open a private tab in Chrome, Firefox, Safari or Edge, and suddenly you feel invisible. The blacked out theme, the private icon, the word incognito, it all suggests you've just cloaked yourself from the entire internet. But the reality is very different. Incognito Mode is not a privacy shield. It's a local browsing convenience, and once you understand how it really works, you'll see why it can be misleading. In this video, we're going to look at what Incognito Mode really does. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps this small channel grow. So let's start with what Incognito Mode actually does. At the simplest level, it stops your browser from saving your history, cookies, and form data after the session ends. If you look up hotels, flights, or watch videos in Incognito, those entries won't show up in your local history. Your save logins won't update. An autofill won't remember what you typed. That's all it really is, local privacy. It prevents your device from remembering. But just because your computer forgets, doesn't mean the internet forgets. When you browse Incognito, your requests still go out through your internet service provider, your DNS provider, and the servers of every website you visit. They still see your IP address, your device type, and in many cases your approximate location. From the outside world's perspective, nothing has changed. A study from Statista makes this clear. In surveys, nearly 40% of internet users mistakenly believe Incognito hides their browsing activity from employers, ISPs, or governments. Another 22% thinks it prevents websites from knowing who you are. Both assumptions are false. What Incognito Mode really does is far narrower. Only your local device memory. Everything else still leaves a trail as normal. This leads us to one of the biggest issues. People using Incognito Mode for sensitive activities. Whether it's looking at medical information, shopping for surprise gifts, or adult content, many users assume Incognito keeps them safe. In truth, your internet service provider can still log every request, and employers running enterprise networks can still see it all in traffic logs. Even schools can track domains visited from their Wi-Fi. The private tab is private only to people sharing your device, not to the networks and services you're connected to. Advertising companies also benefit from this confusion. Cookies, which are tiny files that track your activity, are deleted after Incognito closes. But during that web browsing session, trackers still work. If you sign into Google while in Incognito, your browsing can be linked to your account. If you visit a site with third-party trackers, those trackers still collect data in real time. You've simply given them a shorter window, not cut them off entirely. There have even been lawsuits over this. In 2020, Google faced a $5 billion class action accusing the company of misleading users about what Incognito really does. It was argued that Google still collected data through analytics, ad manager, and plugins even when users thought they were private. Google's defense was simple. They've always disclosed in fine print that Incognito doesn't make you invisible. But the fact that the lawsuit exists highlights how widespread the misunderstanding is. Let's dig into the technical details. When you type a website in Incognito, your request goes through DNS resolution, converting the human-friendly address into an IP. That DNS request is visible to your ISP, and unless you're using encrypted DNS like DNS over HTTPS, it's plain text. Then the website you visit sees your IP, your user agent string, which includes browser type, OS, and sometimes version info, and sets temporary cookies. Even if those cookies get deleted when you close the session, the site has already logged the interaction. Another overlooked detail is downloads. If you download a PDF, an image, or a video in Incognito, the file is still saved to your device. It won't be linked in your browser history, but it's still there in your downloads folder. The same goes for bookmarks. Anything you save persists outside of Incognito. Many people forget this, assuming everything done in private mode vanishes. In reality, only certain data categories, history, cookies, and form inputs are discarded. So if Incognito doesn't truly protect your privacy, what tools do? That's where VPNs, proxies, and secure browsers come in. A VPN encrypts your traffic and hides your IP by routing through a remote server. That stops ISPs, employers, or coffee shop Wi-Fi providers from seeing what sites you visit. Proxies can mask IP addresses but don't encrypt traffic, making them weaker than VPNs for most purposes. Privacy-focused browsers like Brave or Tor go further by blocking trackers and randomizing your fingerprint, making it harder for websites to profile you. The distinction is important. Incognito protects local privacy from other users of your device, while VPNs and private browsers protect network-level privacy from outsiders. They solve different problems. That's why using both together can be powerful. A VPN to encrypt and disguise your connection, plus Incognito to prevent your own device from saving history in case it's stolen or falls into the wrong hands. There are still valid reasons to use Incognito. If you share a laptop and don't want your search history cluttered with someone else's activity, it's handy. If you're testing how a website looks without cached logins or cookies, it's useful, and it's one of the reasons developers use it. Even online shoppers sometimes use it to see prices without personalization, though many sites still identify repeat visitors by IP, so the effect is limited. But using Incognito as a privacy tool is a mistake. It doesn't stop fingerprinting, which is a technique where sites identify your unique combination of browser settings, fonts, plugins, and screen size. It doesn't block ads, it doesn't encrypt your traffic. That's just a myth reinforced by dark UI colors and the word private. A 2023 survey found that 52% of users thought Incognito mode prevented Google from tracking them. Yet Google itself confirmed that analytics and ad trackers still run inside Incognito sessions, as we mentioned earlier. That gap between what people believe and what actually happens is exactly why I made this video. Incognito isn't surveillance protection, it hides your browsing from roommates, co-workers, or family members who share the same device. It doesn't hide it from governments, corporations, or advertisers. The next time you open a private tab, remember what it really means. Your browser will forget, but the internet won't. Your ISP still logs, websites still track, and companies still monetize. Incognito is a local trick, not an online shield. Do you use Incognito mode, and were you aware of what it does and doesn't protect you from? Let me know down in the comments, and please do subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.